Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. This is my monthly question and answer video for January 2022. So if you want to see some of my answers to your questions, please stay tuned. I am very excited that I get to answer some of your questions this month in this particular video. If you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome. I do a question and answer video each last day of the month, and so all you have to do if you have a question is put it under any of my videos. I go back at the end of the month and review all of the questions from that month, so you can insert your question anywhere. I will answer it on your comment, and then I will also answer it in this video at the end of the month. So I have quite a few questions this month, so I want to jump right in. Question one is, someone asked if I could put a sign for my name, like for my website on the wall behind me, and the answer is yes, but I haven't yet. I'm still working on that. Thank you so much for that question. I am looking forward to seeing how I can make my videos more accessible and my other information more accessible as well. If you go to my channel on YouTube, there are links to my Etsy shop, my Facebook group, and my blog. So you can find those on my information page on YouTube. Someone asked about, question two. Someone asked about the L and E on my hustle board here. This was from my goal setting video where I showed where I have my projects written down that I need to work on. There are still a ton of projects here. I've only crossed one out, but I'm making progress on at least a couple more right now. So the hustle board, I actually made this little poster years ago, and I put it on the wall upstairs, and then I just now brought it down here fairly recently. It spells out the word hustle, and then each letter has something that it stands for. So the first one is hard work, use your gifts, serve others, trust God, and they asked about the L and the E, learn from others, and encourage yourself. So these are kind of what I look at to remind myself to stay focused and keep working. And that's my little hustle board. Question three, someone asked about tension issues, because when I did my feedback from the Georgia National Fair quilts, one thing that showed up was that I have tension issues in my quilting, and they asked what specifically that looked like. For me, and this may be for another video, but for me, my stitches are usually pretty tight. Like my top stitches are usually pretty tight, and so sometimes the top stitches like they run through to the back, so I have little eyelashes, and then sometimes it's the opposite where they come through the front. And my stitches are usually very close together, and so I'm going to work on lengthening my stitch length a little bit as I free motion quilt while maintaining the tension. I think that's gonna, for me, that's gonna take a good bit of work. I just have not taken the time to look at it more closely. But if I want to enter quilts competitively, I know that that's something that I definitely have to think about and work through. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully I'll get there soon, so that my quilting stitches look uniform, and they are so there's no, like, the top thread won't go through the bottom. So that's what I'm hoping for, working towards hopefully within this next year. Question number four was, do I have a Patreon? Right now I'm not using Patreon. It's something I am looking into. I was given that idea by a friend of mine, but I still need to do a little bit more research to figure out how to do it and how I would work that out. Right now I'm doing 3 videos a week on YouTube, and while I think it's possible to add a Patreon, I'm just not sure how to do that and how I would work that into my schedule. But it is on the list of things to learn and things to do. Question number 5, someone asked how much I charge for my bears. If you want that information, you can email me at purplequiltco@gmail.com. I feel like the only answer is right now not enough for my bears, but I'm happy with the work that I do, and the people who commission me to make those bears, they're happy, so I'm good. But if you're interested in that specifically, just email me and I will get that information back out to you. Question 6 is, do I live in Georgia? I mentioned in a previous video a Scarlet Thread, which is a quilt shop here in North Georgia, and so that's why this person asked me, and I was able to let her know that I do live in Georgia, and I'm excited because she is basically my neighbor, so I'm excited to hopefully meet a subscriber, and thank you so much for that question. I look forward to meeting you really soon. Okay, the next question, question 7, is how many UFOs do I have? I've recently shown 2 of my UFOs as a part of the Finish It Friday series. One was the A Star Is Born quilt blocks that I've been working on, and then another one is the Heartstrings quilt that I'm about to work on more consistently. Because of this question, I went through and counted my UFOs, and I have that I've actually started to put together. I have 14 or 15. If you count both of the Starlight, Starbright quilts that I'm working on, I think that makes it 15. And there are a few projects that I have the pieces for. For example, my youngest son doesn't have a t-shirt quilt or a jersey quilt, and I have all his jerseys in a shoebox upstairs. So I didn't count those yet because I haven't started cutting them or anything like that. And then I have one of my grandmother's, it's like a quilt, a pieced panel that she sewed together, and I haven't started making that into a quilt. So that doesn't count quite yet. So of the pieces that I've already started, I have 15 going at different levels. One of them is just as simple as finishing up the binding. I have to stuff Fifi Fox. So those are like the 2 easiest that it would be to finish. And they go all the way through. There's one scrap quilt that I'm still cutting because it's tiny half square triangles that I need to cut down so they're all 1.5 inches. And so, you know, I'm still on that stage. So they range from all different stages of completion, but I think there are 15 in all. And hopefully that number will go down. The concern is that I have all these commission works, and so I don't have time to work on my own stuff like I would like to. But I'm gonna, you know, it is what it is. It's just that I have to be aware of that I don't have as much time to do my fun work because I'm working on commissions right now. The next question is about the A Star Is Born quilt that I showed a few weeks ago in the Finish It Friday video. She asked if I was making other blocks or just this one block. So this block is not a sampler quilt. It's going to be a quilt with just the one block in it. And I'll insert a little bit of that video where I showed all of the blocks that I've made so far. I'm not sure how many blocks I'm going to make. I'm not sure how I'm going to set it. Because those blocks are so small, I have to decide when enough is enough. I think that it can be a really spectacular quilt. I love the look of each individual block. I just have to figure out how to set them and how many blocks I really need to finish it out. The next question is how long I've been a quilter, and I have been quilting since around 2000. I started my first quilt in 2000. My joke is that I finished my first quilt in 2007, but I made quilts in between those. But the first quilt that I started was for my oldest son. It was supposed to be his baby quilt, but like I said, I didn't finish it until he was 7 years old. It is what it is. And but I've been consistently quilting since 2000. And she asked what my favorite part about quilting is. There are 2 things that I really like about quilting. I love piecing, and I love designing quilts. So those are my 2 favorite things that I enjoy. I can't say that I like one more than the other. Piecing is very satisfying because you can see it as you sew it together. But I also like designing because it gives me like I can picture everything in my head before it goes down into fabric. So I'm excited about that too. The next question is about my ironing board. If you've been watching my videos, you see me go to this iron. This is a Better Home and Gardens ironing board, ironing board that I got from Walmart. It is extra wide, so it's about, I mean, it's right over there, but I'm not taking the camera over there. It's about this, well, this wide. So it's wider than my than a standard ironing board, and so it allows me to press a little bit more at a time. I really like this board a lot, and I don't remember how much it was, but when I got it, I didn't expect to pay as much as I paid for it, but still a good value. It's still from Walmart, and it's the Better Home and Gardens. I don't know. I just know it's a really wide one. Let's see what the next question is. Someone asked about the T-shirt quilts that are in my my memory quilt that I'm working on right now. She asked, what do I do when the designs are not cut straight? And she asked if I go with making the design straight, or if I or not printed. Let me ask that again. She asked, how do I handle the fabric when the design is not printed straight? So what I do is I go for the design. I don't worry about the straight of grain or anything like that. I just want the design to be straight. If it is a knit material, I'm going to back it with the Pellon interfacing anyway, so it doesn't matter, because that interfacing will stabilize it enough so that I can sew it with. Ideally, I just want that design to be straight. I don't worry about anything else where that's concerned. The next question is about my weight loss. If you follow my channel, if you followed me for a while, you know that I recently went on a weight loss journey. I guess technically I'm still on it, but now I'm in a, everything's kind of leveled off, so I'm in a maintenance stage. So I started in November of 2020, and I went to a low carb, high fat diet, or high fat, low carb, I don't know, either way, diet, where I basically dropped the processed sugars and white food except for cauliflower. So, and that has really helped me to take the weight off. I will put a picture of here in the video of a before and like October. So you can see before I started my journey and in October the difference that it has made. There was something else I wanted to say about it. I forgot. Oh, if you've watched my previous videos, like many of my Throwback Thursdays are from a long time ago, and if you've watched those videos, I look very different, and it's because of this recent change. So, you know, if you look at old videos and it looks different, it's just because it was. Hopefully I can maintain this. I feel better. I feel like I look better. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And I'm more confident, and I can do what I need to do. Thankfully, I've always been confident in my creativity. So my quilt videos, I've been consistent and able to put those out. Now that you've asked about that, I just wanted to let you know again what I've been doing. Let's see. Next question. Oh, it was about the memory quilt, and any video that I talk about right now, I'm going to link it in the comments or in the description so that you can go back and check it out if you haven't seen it, especially if you are a new subscriber. Again, welcome new subscribers. So for the memory quilt, I've been working on this block called the Woven Cross, and I will insert some video of this block here. I sort of, actually no, I'm going to insert a picture of I'll insert a picture of it here so that you can see it. It's kind of a spoiler, but I made all the blocks and I have them laid out upstairs. So I'll put a picture so you can see what they look like, laid out all on the floor. And someone asked about the squares and rectangles for this quilt. And what I've done is I cut my squares at 5 inches square, and then I cut my rectangles at 9.5 inches by 5 inches. And if you've seen my most recent video, or one of my most recent videos, where I show cutting up the shirts, you can see that. And then in my recent video for that quilt series, I actually put a block together on camera so that you can see that. The 5-inch squares, when they go together, they make a 9.5-inch rectangle by 5 inches, and so everything goes together very nicely. So make sure that you check out the Christmas Memory Quilt playlist so that you can see every step of the process. I can't wait for you to see all of those blocks there upstairs laid out on the floor. It's amazing. I'm super excited about it. I only have just a few questions left. Someone asked about the stabilizer for the shirts for that quilt, and I have it right over there. Okay, so this is the Pelon SK135. This is what I use. It's a sheer knit fusible. I'm going to bring it up to the camera so that you can check it out. Let's see, can you see that? So it's very sheer, and here is the number. I hope you can see that clearly. Okay, and what I do with this, because I use it for my t-shirts for that quilt, and I use it for my bears, I typically buy this by the bolt. There are 15 yards on the bolt, and it is 20 inches wide. So I get it on the bolt. I can use a coupon at Joann, or I wait until it's on sale, and I only buy it on sale or with a coupon. But it's usually $3.99 a yard, but on sale you can get it much cheaper than that, and then if you have a coupon, even cheaper than that sometimes. So again, it's a Pelon SK135, and what I like about this, don't like, it's hard to say, is that they have this paper with it. Okay, and if you follow my channel, these are the strips. When I talk about my Pelon paper, it's what's left over after I use that interfacing. So I'm making these strip sets or whatever out of using that as a foundation. So very cool. I got another question about my curved log cabin. Again, I will link that in the description. And what she asked was, and maybe I'll put a picture in here, right here, if I can find a picture of that quilt. It's actually with my nephew down in Warner Robins, Georgia. But she asked about the sizes of the logs in that one. And for that one, I used a light log and a dark log. My center squares were 2.5 inches for that, and then my light pieces were 1.5 inch strips, and the dark pieces were 2.5 inch strips. And so that gave me a big variety in the curves on that quilt, and it really came out nice. I like the way that it looks, and I was able to take it to my nephew, and he loved it. And I called it, I forgot what I called it. I got to go back and look. But because some of the paths didn't end in the layout, I just thought it was really interesting. And so anyway, that is the measurements of the logs. I did 1.5, 2.5 inches. And if you, in the description, I will put a link to that block, and then I'll put a link to the finished quilt layouts that you could try for that curved log cabin. Okay, I have 2 more questions. One is, when I'm making my string blocks, do I backstitch so that when I square up, I don't lose any, like the stitches don't come loose? And I do not backstitch when I'm quilting because I know that all of those pieces are going to be joined together and be like, they're secure because they're going to be stitched again to another block. And generally I don't have any issue with the stitches coming apart after I've squared up. If you do, I would shorten my stitch length just a little bit, and especially for my my heartstrings quilt, since those are on a paper foundation, you naturally want to lower the stitch length so that the paper will come out a little more easily. The last question that I got was about the long arm and how is it coming. And the question is, the answer is, right now I am not using my long arm. As I said before, I don't have time to work on my own, or I don't have the time that I would like to work on my own individual projects. So I have the long arm off to the side for right now. Hopefully I can make a few minutes here or there so that I can start learning it, because ultimately that will make my quilting easier, which will give me more time to do the other things that I want to do. So I hope that you've enjoyed this question and answer session. I've enjoyed sharing my time with you here. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, I want to welcome new subscribers. Thank you so much for coming along on this creative journey with us. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!